The Republican National Convention is just a few days away, and we've been hearing a lot about Project 2025 and what it means for the country if Donald Trump is reelected as president.
Our Sabrina Franz has been digging into that to see what it is all about and also who's behind it. Sabrina.
Jim Marie, the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank that wrote up this blueprint, as it's been called, will be front and center at the Republican National Convention next week. In fact, they have a fundraiser scheduled for the first day of the convention. Project 2025, a 900-page book that lays out recommendations for the next conservative administration.
Some people have called it a blueprint for Trump's possible second term. How would you define it?
It's called Project 2025. It's clearly designed to be a blueprint for President Trump were he to win election.
We asked expert Stephen Maynard Caliendo about the Presidential Personnel Database, a branch of the Project 2025 transition project designed to be a LinkedIn-style list of people pre-approved to serve in the next administration. Candidates who apply are vetted on their political stances. Normally, administrations appoint hundreds of people to new jobs, political positions that work to prioritize their specific policy goals. Project 2025 proposes the next administration add around 50,000 jobs to that list, jobs that have historically been nonpartisan.
To replace everybody in those agencies, to not have people who have long-time service or have particular expertise, but rather the litmus test ought to be people that have loyalty to the ideas of the President of the United States.
The project suggests scrapping Medicare, getting rid of Social Security, a ban on pornography, a block on access to abortion pills. It takes aim at longstanding federal agencies like NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which includes the National Weather Service and other agencies. Together, the book claims they form a colossal operation that has become one of the main drivers of the climate change alarm industry, and as such, it says, is harmful to future U.S. prosperity. Former President Trump has previously claimed, "I know nothing about Project 2025.
It's just an outright lie.
Pat Brady, a former member of the Republican National Committee, he confirms Project 2025 is led by two former Trump officials. Former members of the Trump administration also helped write it.
Does he talk to them? Of course he does. What kind of influence they're going to have? I don't know. That's an open question.
Former President Donald Trump has said he finds parts of the project absurd, but has not exactly elaborated on which parts he disagrees with. Experts say he may have to get into those specifics if he hopes to appeal to undecided voters that might disagree with some of those controversial suggestions. Sabrina Franz, CBS News, Chicago.
And Democrats are already using that as a campaign issue.
They are.
Only to step up.
Sure,
Thanks,
we'll hear
Sabrina.
much more about it. Thank you.